Since everybody's reviewing House of X this week, let's try something different. I got the digital comic open here. It's 47 pages. I'll read to page 11, speak to you. Page 22, speak to you. Page 33, speak to you. And I hope you can't hear the jackhammer, and I hope it stops by the next time I speak to you. I thought I read a typo. Please, Ambassador, it's fine. No, he said, please, Ambassador, it's fine. As in Magneto's the Ambassador. So we got Esme and Sophie. I believe that they're the dead ones. They're not Celeste and the other three Stepford cuckoos. Sophie is who Kid Omega wanted, right? Maybe wrong, but I doubt it. Krakoa keeps on being talked about in the font over here. Krakoa. It looks like in the beginning, and these are things I saw on the preview page, that they got flowers, seeds, planted them in these different places of the world. One of them was Charles Xavier's place, or Jean Grey's School of Higher Learning, whatever it's called now. I think that's the House of X. I think that's the mystery solved right there. And yeah, looks like they're gonna cut a deal with the governments of the world. China's about that deal. Other places were not represented. They just said, you know, you're the Chinese ambassador. No one else was recognized. They all spoke in English, for whatever that's worth. Okay, mystery solved. It's House of X. It's Charles Xavier. See you at page 22. With the bargaining chips being the three flowers, I can see how they're gonna maintain this relationship with the world government. We'll give you access to all these pills, but we're the ones who are going to grow and manufacture it. We'll let you have it piece by piece. And so long as there are people, customers, they can maintain this. But rest of the world are plotting and scheming. Only 6 months have passed, they've already got this weapon up in space orbiting. It looks like, they called it a she, but it looks like a giant sun sentinel. A sentinel. I think they called it the Forge. I like Sentinel better. And also, another thing I picked up was on that map, Savage Land was missing. They were really cool with the things that they did mention, like in the middle of USA, New Mexico maybe the state, but when Kieran Gillen was writing Uncanny X-Men, there was that place of land that evolved millions of years and the rest of the world didn't. It was represented in the map. I'm sorry, did he really just add the Fantastic Four? Hickman. Magneto! Magneto! Putting his foot down. We have never stolen land. We don't rob people and all that stuff. We have history on our side, and it's our planet. We're inheriting it. You're trespassing on my land, Earth. But we're only opting to use one part of it, and we'll let you have the rest. That's all we want is this island. And no, you're not coming to my goddamn island. Yes. Earlier though, 10 pages ago maybe, it was with Toad and with Sabretooth and with Mystique. They're going to be the, man, there was a word for it, like kind of the X-Force, and they're going to do the dirty jobs that are not supposed to be done. Cool. I don't know if they're on the team of X-Force, because I know 6 X titles are spinning out of it, but I can see a team that deals with the human threats, or what was this one called? It was a place where they would store Reed Richards and Tony Stark stuff, because they were presumed dead. Hey man, the last 5 years of comics mattered, right? So since Secret Wars, Reed Richards has been out, which is basically Hickman picking up on a story that Dan Slott didn't get a chance to. And Tony Stark died because Bendis wanted to do Ironheart. Speaking of Ironheart, you think if Ironheart had the ability to have what Xavier has, it would even come to this? And there's a Powers of 10 comic coming too next week. What's that going to be about? I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to rate this comic and give it all the stars that it deserves. I loved everything, except for the last word that Magneto says, where he says that he's a god. I don't know about all, like Dust, she took the Shahada. I'm not sure she's down with that part of it. Everything else was great. Him going to Jerusalem must be a reference to his Jewish heritage. It looks like he just renounced his religion. Renounced, or he declined it now. Because he said, you know how you humans love your religions? Makes it sound like he doesn't believe. And then when he says straight up blasphemy, there's that. But it's comic books, right? We got Thor and all that shit. Let's all that shit aside. So Scott pops up. Hey, Mr. Fantastic. Hey, how's everything been? He kind of sympathizes with Mrs. Fantastic, Sue Storm, because she put that barrier with Sabretooth trapped up. And they have an eye to eye, him and Reed Richards, 2 leaders. Reed stands his ground. Scott says, I can see why this is going to be a problem. You can have him. Like, what's going on over here? Because Scott was coming off evil, like, but he's not evil. He's just coming off with an edge. Still, mutants ordered this hit, or this snatch and recovery, this thievery, is behind it. The people living in Krakoa are behind it. So they are bad guys. They're being bad guys. If I mean everything's not black and white, but they're being bad guys. I don't like that about the mutants happening. And then there's Franklin. Hey, when he's ready to join the family, bring him on by. What? That's blasphemous. You can't say that. I can see Franklin being a thorn because he will be allowed to cross into Krakoa. Not that it matters though, because we got psychic telepaths who can read people's minds, even the most trained people. But he is an Omega level mutant. Classification, he sides with the humans though. He was the only one who sided with the humans. Thankfully, all of Hope, my boy Elixir's up in there, Omega level. Yes, they're all, I guess, the treasures. We gotta preserve them because they are our bargaining chips. I keep saying bargaining chips. I think that's the second time I said that in this review. That's cool. Yeah, that Omega level thing also. That tweet that Hickman put out like a couple weeks ago. I spent 500 words trying to explain what makes an Omega, what's not. So if you got double powers like Jean Grey, then I think it's a contradiction. You gotta be the top in your field. Like no one's better than you. There was two people who had telepathy in that field, right? It was Quentin Quire, I believe, and Jean Grey. Strange to me. Whatever though. Maybe I didn't read it. I will read this issue again, of course. But I want to check whether or not it was Esme or Celeste. I'll be back. I knew my dead Stepford Cuckoos. Esme is dead. Sophie's dead. Celeste, Mindy, and Phoebe are the ones who are alive. Can't fool your boy. Yo, I can see why this comic is being so respected and talked about like this. This is good shit. This is advancing the story. This is progress. Every other writer who've been writing for the X-Men the last couple of years, be ashamed of yourself. Hickman's out here redefining shit, thinking outside the box. If you writers who I'm dissing right now, who I know you're watching because you're insecure, and if Hickman you're watching, what's up, Pepe Red, I see you. If you were in a box because your editor said you can't do this, can't do that, can't do that, fine, I take that back. But like this guy's straight up using Krakoa, a guy from Giant Size, who they just made a facsimile issue of. You know, everything they do is for a reason. Every time they do a True Believer or a old facsimile issue that they're gonna bring back, it's for a purpose. So good on Marvel for that. This was a good comic book that meant shit. Everything changes. They say House of X 2 is better than House of X 1. There's Powers of X. Good stuff. I'm enjoying this. I'm just a fan, right? 5 stars for a reason. I could waste more of your time, but this was great. I'm gonna watch other people review because I'm a fan just like you. Peace out.